So I know you pressed on this video because you're lacking motivation to change your life. And honestly, I'm not here to diss you. That's totally okay. Because, there has to be losers. For there to be winners, there has to be losers. Simple as that. Look, and if that made you feel some kind of way, if that made you kind of almost want to press out this video and made you a bit angry, I got you. I feel like there's still that fire within you, bro. If that made you feel some kind of way. If that didn't make you feel annoyed in the slightest bit, then I think you're too far gone. You can not press on this video, go watch some Mr. Beast or something. But for those that actually felt something when I said that, let me tell you from another brother that wants to see you win, you have so much potential, bro. And this is not an exaggeration. You can do anything. And let me tell you why you aren't feeling the same way. You aren't feeling motivated. It's because you're comfortable. I'll tell you guys a story back when I got first accepted into medical school. After studying my ass off for 2 years straight in high school, I finally got accepted to my dream university. I was going to study medicine. I was the golden child. Everyone was proud of me. Parents were proud, etc. And I started and I left my family home to go study abroad. Within the first 6 months, I'd achieved basically the goal that I've been working so hard for, right? So I've already achieved that. And there was nothing else that I really wanted to achieve. It was just for the next 6 years, I was riding this wave out and I was going to come out the other side as a fully fledged doctor, right? So there really wasn't something else that I wanted to do. And because of that, I fell into a trap that most men fall for. Comfort. Everything's already playing out. You've got your path laid out ahead of you and it's good enough. So you get comfortable. You're like, all right, this is good enough. This is the danger of good enough. And I think I heard this on a podcast by, I think, Chris Williamson. Most people are better off being in a worse situation than what they are now. And the reason for that is that being in a worse situation is going to actually force you to act and do something about that situation, rather than being like, oh, it's good enough, so I don't feel the need to actually strive for more. And that action is going to end up help you become the better person and actually improve your life more than if you stayed in that current situation. So very interesting insight there, but it's totally true. Most people are not motivated because they're comfortable, semi-comfortable in their situation. This is the big trap that most men fall for, and this leads to death for over 90% of guys. The fact that they are content with their situation and they don't have that fire within them to achieve more. That was me for the first 6 months of being in medical school. What did I do? Downward spiral. So I would party every weekend. I would go out, drink. If this person asked me to do this, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. I had no standards. As a result, I was losing that fire within, and I was becoming further and further away from the man I was meant to be. And here was the tipping point, right? Here was the part where everything shifted for me. And that's when I realized that the traditional med school path was something that I didn't want to live. I was actually speaking to some people who are already doctors, and they're like, all we're doing is like working 24/7. We don't get a break and it's just hell. And I thought, once you'd finish med school, it'd be like, now you'd be able to make the millions that you'd want to as a doctor. But it turns out you still got a long way to go. So that's something that I realized. And I was like, okay, this is not really the path that I want to go down. I need to be building something bigger here. If I'm in med school to be a doctor, that's all good, but that's not enough. I don't want to just finish the 6 years and get a certificate that tells me I can practice medicine. What's going to separate me from the millions of other people graduating that year? That really scared me. The idea of being exactly like everyone else, because that was my biggest fear, being average. So that was that thing that ignited that fire within me to really grow. And that's what motivated me to start that business. That's what motivated me to build the physique I have now, because I wanted to be exceptional. I had that fire within me for more. And one of the biggest things that increased my drive and motivation was investing in myself. Sounds ironic, but it put myself in a position where my back was against the wall and I had to pull it off. I put myself in debt on purpose, right? I had 3K in my account. I remember this very vividly. I was on a call with my mentor, and it was the first call, and he's like, "It's 15K." And without hesitation, I said yes. And I had 3K in my account. What person would do that? Looking back, it sounds very silly and reckless of me, but if I hadn't artificially put myself in a situation of discomfort, I probably wouldn't have made half the progress I made within that year, purely by the aspect of my back being against the wall. And that's the power of intentionally choosing the path of discomfort. You're going to come out the other end as twice the man than if you took the comfortable path. And it's only a upward spiral from there. Once you see the little bit of progress you've made from attacking your goals and achieving things, then you become hooked. And that's always why I say the very first step, I think, to achieving your goals is to get in incredible shape, because that is the easiest thing you can do to prove to yourself that you are called for more, and to really prove to yourself that you can really do anything and you can change your situation by changing your body, right? That's the number one thing I get most guys to do. And that's why I'm so dedicated to helping people transform physically, because it's much more than the physical. It's the person you become. That's what I did. I ended up upgrading my physique. I invest my time and effort into going to the gym, eating clean, and learning about how to train properly and macros and all of that. And as a result, I built the physique. But the physique I built wasn't just what I saw in the mirror, but the person I became, which is very interesting. So by seeing myself transform, I was like, okay, I can improve my life in every metric. If I can improve my life by the way I look, which was at the time one of my biggest insecurities, how skinny I was. I was afraid to even walk in the gym. If I can improve my life in this metric, then I can improve in every metric, financial, relationship, whatever. I can do anything. That was the spark that set it off. And as a result, I started a business, had the confidence and self-belief to do that because of the physique I built. And this is why I say, guys, use the body you build to achieve your personal goals. So if you are in a very ambitious state, you are motivated to do more and to achieve more, but you don't know where to start, get in fucking insane shape. Get in superhero shape. Get in the shape where people would ask you, bro, you got to be on steroids or something. When you do that, it's very subconscious, but you start to think of yourself as someone who deserves more, who deserves exceptional results because they are the exception, right? And it sounds cocky, it sounds arrogant, but this is what is required to reach the level that you want to reach. And as a bonus, because you are now healthier, in shape, healthier, happier, more confident, you then get all that energy that you were wasting into bad habits previously. You regain all that energy to actually funnel into the goals that you want to work on. So people see it as a trade-off, but it's totally not true. Like, getting in shape isn't never a trade-off. It's a bonus. It becomes an advantage that you have over other people, because you instantly get more respect walking into the room, aka people want to do more business with you. You've proven to the world and yourself that you can change and do hard things and level up. So that's on your side. And you also have the energy to work on these things because you are a healthier version of the person you were. If you're unmotivated to improve your life, you need to get in shape, and you need to do it now. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to motivate you. How many videos like this do you need to watch? Do you get off your ass and do something productive? No amount of video is going to help. I was there, bro. I was scrolling video after video after video. They were all saying the same thing, but I wouldn't change my habits, because motivation isn't what you need. It's purpose. It's the fire within. And the best way to unleash that, and I'll say it again and again, is to get in insane, incredible shape. It's as simple as that, my bro.